This is exciting.
Here, we can switch it up. I've been on that side the whole time. This
Oh,
is,
wow.
This is
I'm
fun.
sorry.
No,
I've taken
it's
your
all
spot.
good. Welcome, everybody. So we're here with Nacho Vigalondo, the
Hi.
filmmaker of Open Windows, and Elijah Wood, who is a star. Or
Yes.
Yes?
Yes.
No, maybe?
Yes.
Totally, he's totally the star.
I'm in it. I am in it.
So have you guys played at the festival yet?
We've not. So tonight is our premiere.
Just look at my hands.
We're
This is my
much
emotional state.
anticipation.
Yeah.
So since pretty much no one has seen the movie, what's it about and what is the premise? I know a little bit about it.
I love to hear your point of view.
Yeah?
about what's the movie about.
The premise of the film. The premise of the film is basically about a young guy who's a fan of this actress called Jill Goddard. He's got a website for this actress, and he wins a contest to go to Austin, Texas, to meet her. And then he encounters someone from the contest on his computer who starts to sort of very insidiously allow him to do kind of somewhat morally questionable things.
Yeah.
That sort of then makes him implicit in something that could be potentially illegal. This man ultimately reveals that he's a villain, and he kidnaps this girl, and it basically sends the film into this sort of thriller where I'm trying to save this girl's life.
Yeah.
And the entire thing takes place on a computer.
Yeah, that is the gimmick of the movie. Yeah, it's this story takes place in real time. There's not a single cut to the whole film, or camera or virtual camera is all the time focusing on the screen of a normal laptop.
So does that mean that you are you always in front of your computer, or when
Yes.
you
Always.
Yeah.
So basically, I mean, the shooting of the film was there are very few sequences in the movie. It's really not until the end where the actors physically interact.
Right.
Up until that point, up until the last sequence of the film, we are all interacting with each other via webcam. So it was a very solitary experience making it for me, because I was in front of a camera the entire time, either holding it or sitting at a desk or driving a car and looking at a camera that was
Yeah.
supposed to be my computer screen.
Most of the time he's holding the computer. He's
Right.
actually holding the computer. So he's becoming at the same time the main actor, the main face, and also the camera, because he's actually holding what works as a camera in this movie. So it's a really physical job. And he made it in a really precise way because he's an android. He's not he's a cyborg. This is something that people should know. At some point, he's been incredibly precise, and once you see the movie, you realize his job is really precise and really specific in terms of movement and the eye direction and everything. So it's
It was
really
highly
complex.
technical, because if you can
Yeah.
imagine that, a great majority of what we are seeing as an audience is not what I'm seeing or what any of the actors are seeing on set. So we're not looking at the actual computer. We're not looking at, anything that might, stage direction that might happen, where someone might send me a file. I have to pay attention to where that happens, timing-wise, and also where it happens on the screen. So a lot of these technical things that we had to be mindful of the entire time.
I just realized something.
What's that?
We have this word that came really popular these days lately. The whole movie is a selfie.
Oh my God!
First-
Oh no!
It's a 100
This is gonna be
minutes.
your pitch.
No! It's the first selfie movie.
Open Windows is a 100-minute selfie of Elijah Wood. You have to see it.
Oh my God! What a thing to realize.
Yeah, you just can't.
Just embrace it. F it.
Yeah.
So did you? You called it a gimmick, but obviously the idea of having it all take place on a computer screen was a conscious decision. Why did you want to do that, and kind of what was the thought behind that?
Well, the thing is, my producers approached me with the idea of making a movie in which the internet language, the social media, has a really big importance, and they wanted to make something that could resonate the Rear Window stuff
Right.
we have from Hitchcock and so on, and they gave me this idea, and I just took this idea to the edge, and I offered back to them, why don't we make a movie that takes all the time inside a computer? And this was kind of 5 years ago or so. So it's been really a long, delicate process.
Computers have changed a lot in the last 5 years.
That's the reason we decided not to imitate any specific operative system you have in your home.
Right.
We decided to come with something new because we knew that if we try to replicate something that
Like
we know
Facebook or
we're going
Twitter or
to
whatever.
fail. So the first draft of the script was really based in social media, but I realized that was going to be a total failure in 2014 because things were going to change, and they have changed. So the movie is not about how does internet interact with us. It's about being able as a filmmaker to use split screen and real time,
Right.
and a lot of narrative devices who are justified because of the language we all share.
Right.
So it's a kind of a
little less a
expensive and
commentary on
complicated,
society
yeah.
and more you playing with the tools that.
Yeah, there's a commentary on some stuff, but they don't have to be related necessarily to the internet. I mean, he explained about his relationship with this actress.
Right.
His moral position is kind of ambiguous towards her, and I think that is something that happens to all of us. Our relationship, I mean, internet is playing tricks with our morals all the time, and so we are against.
Because I think of that distance too.
Yeah.
You know, if you're not physically interacting with someone,
Yeah.
suddenly that allows for a slightly morally ambiguous decision-making process. Because you're not in facing that person, therefore, I mean, we see that manifest in the way of comments, where people will be extremely mean-spirited, or, you know, a variety of other things. And we certainly explore that in the film as well. You know, when you have that kind of distance, when you're not actually having to face someone, what you'll allow yourself to do is.
Yeah, well, at the beginning he
accountability
plays a guy who is a nice guy. We hear that expression. He's a nice guy, just like us. No? But one guy is offering the chance to see something that is totally illegal, but he's not going to be seen as he sees that. So he decides to watch it, and I think that is close to what us would do in that similar situation. So I think that I just wanted to question myself and to question the way we act on the internet.
Right.
It's also
all
sort
the
of
time.
the anti-found footage film as well, in a way. Or maybe it's the penultimate found footage film.
Yeah, maybe this kills the fan footage in real. Maybe
That would be great.
That would be great.
That would be
That would be
great.
great.
So how do I believe you guys have known one another, worked together, or collaborated in some way for a while, but your first movie together?
We've known each other
Right.
socially for 4 years.
Yeah, more or less 4 years. I
4
think it's
years.
4 years.
We met in Austin, Fantastic Fest 2010.
Right.
But we'd communicated via email prior to that because
Yeah.
I'd spoken to some Spanish press about how much I love time crimes. And it got back to him.
Yeah, that was a-
suddenly
that
we
was
were
a blast.
emailing each other. Yeah. But we actually officially met at Fantastic Fest, so that sort of started our just sort of our friendship and our mutual friend Eugenio Mira as well. And then we went to Fantastic Fest again the following year.
Again. Yeah. So we're pretty
Sort of become the meeting place.
We're familiar with the place. Yeah.
And that's when I heard about Open Windows for the first time. I think it was in 2011, where somebody was mentioning, Nacho's got this idea
Yeah.
for a movie that takes place entirely on a computer screen. I thought, wow, that's insane.
Basically, we made this movie as a way to check if we could destroy our friendship. That happened.
Can our friendship?
Now I
withstand-
know.
Well, you're
friendship
early
is-
on in the process, though. You have a lot of these interviews to sit through. Then you have to figure out who's going to make the movie. Then or release the movie. Then when it comes out, you get that whole
Right.
Yeah,
We're doing
I
all
think-
right.
yeah.
We're doing all right.
I think it's gonna last forever because if it hasn't broken already, it's gonna be there forever. It's like
the ultimate test.
It's Iron Man suit.
Yeah.
It's unbreakable.
But it's kind of, it's funny. It's like on the surface, this movie is incredibly simple in a way. But man, it was complicated.
Yeah.
Like before we even started shooting, he was saying, and this is before I was even involved, because he'd been crafting the film in animatic form because it really demanded that.
Yeah.
There was no way to shoot this movie in any kind of traditional sense. There's no traditional coverage. Each shot is a long, uninterrupted shot that can be sort of brought to with an extra camera from the other perspective. So the whole thing had to be crafted in animatic form. So by the time we actually came to make the film, in some ways Nacho had felt like he'd already directed it. And then it
you were
taken
just
months.
the face that he had to.
And then it was about executing
Yeah.
the ultimate plan, leaving room for freedom later in post for you to move the camera in different places that you wanted to.
But the thing is, the movie lasts 100 minutes, like an average movie. But the amount of video used on screen is 8 hours.
Is
Because
that
of the
true?
it's 8 hours.
Man.
Yeah, the movie is really heavy in that sense.
Wow.
8 hours.
So there's 8 hours of footage
I
that
get tired
that the
only
exterior
thinking.
camera moves over.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
It's pretty wild.
So, why, kind of, what about his previous film appealed to you, and why did you wanna work with him?
I mean, time crimes. I'm a fan of, I like time travel, but that wasn't really the reason. I think what was so interesting about that film, and what really stuck out for me, is how the time travel aspect was used in such a very minimal way. Typically when we see a time travel film, I suppose the only other film that you could compare it to a certain degree is what's Shane Carruth's film? Primer. Primer. In the sense that it's about a small frame of time, but utilizing time travel in this, like, it's like an hour or two as a device for a crime that occurs, and it was such a clever film. I'd never seen anything like it. And it played at Fantastic Fest, and I wasn't here for when it played Fantastic Fest, but I'd heard so much about it and finally saw it. It just, I don't know, I'd never seen that device be used for a completely different purpose. It wasn't about time travel, and I think that's why I loved it so much. And it also, Time Crimes, I think, also has a kinship with classic old thrillers. It even has a Hitchcockian vibe to it as well.
Yeah, totally. In fact, in that case, the movie I had in mind at the time was Psycho, and
yeah.
I'm Body Double by Brian De Palma.
Totally.
Those were the movies I had in mind at the time.
Totally.
What about with this one?
Blown Out.
Blowout.
Blowout, yeah.
Yeah, totally.
In Blowout, you even have the scene when he crashes the car,
Blowout, yeah.
and so. Yeah.
Is Blowout ultimately a remake of Blow Up, the Antonioni film?
No, I don't think so. I think
quite similar.
It takes the basic idea, but forgets about it pretty soon. So
that's
it's not,
true.
Yeah, it's not a remake; it's an inspiration.
Yeah.
Yeah, the same way I'm inspired by Blowout. Yeah.